My name is Jordan Valerian, and I'm part of a new school of engineers and producers. We don't need a perfect room or a locker full of boutique mics. We can make great records anywhere because we prove ourselves by the quality of our work and not the gear we have. I'm on a mission to help you learn from those who have made real records so you can master the tools and produce great music for yourself. I want to help you build a life around your passion and make it your job to make records. Welcome to the Studio Lounge Podcast. How's it going? Good day, good evening, afternoon, wherever you're at right now. Thanks for joining me on the Studio Lounge Podcast. This is Jordan here again, as usual. And today I'm going to talk about the psychology of charging more. And there's kind of an interesting thing that happens is when you're starting out, you have low rates or you're working for free and you're gradually trying to build it up. The way I always thought of it was like I would charge whatever rate the rate had to be to record or mix in order to get clients in. And then once I was booked up maybe 2 to 3 months in advance, I would know that the demand was there. I would raise my price. It's supply and demand, right? And then I would raise it up a little bit, and then I would wait for that to catch up. I'd wait to be booked at that new rate for 2 or 3 months in advance, and then I would raise it again. Now, frankly, when I was coming up in that world, I probably didn't do this fast enough. I probably kept my rates too low for too long, or didn't raise them enough, in the early days, or maybe I'd raise it by $50 a song when I should have doubled the rate, like stuff like that. But anyways, you get my point. That's kind of how I see the journey of raising your rates. It's supply and demand. If you're booked up constantly, steadily, then you need to reduce the demand by raising your rates. Now, here's the funny thing that happens though, is you get to this certain point where maybe you're charging a few $100s per song and you're starting to get really good at what you're doing, but you're kind of stuck in this middle ground where you're still attracting like kind of the lower level clients, and it's getting frustrating. And there's this other world out there and other bands that you want to attract. I find that there's this leap that has to happen, and it's more mental than anything else. And it's about charging more. So maybe you need to go from $300 a song, jump up to $500 a song. Or maybe it's more. Maybe you're charging $600 a song to record and mix, and you need to jump that up to $1,000 a song. Now, that's hard to do because in the short term, you are going to lose some work. Some clients are just going to say, no, sorry, that's too much. But why I wanted to talk about the psychology behind this is that when you charge more money, you attract a certain type of client. Now, just think about this with me for a minute. If you're charging $200 a song, is the touring band who has recorded 3 albums, who is very serious about their career, who is doing it full time, are they going to look at a producer who is recording for $200 a song? The answer is probably not. Just by your price alone, they're going to assume certain things about you. They're going to assume it's demo quality. They're going to assume you're a beginner, all that stuff. Now, if you don't change anything about yourself and your quality, but you raise that rate to $700 a song, then all of a sudden there's a whole different set of clientele that is now paying attention to you, that is now taking you seriously. And think about the things, in your life, the things you're willing to spend more money on, the things that you value higher. There's just certain things where like you're not going to value a product that's $10. Sorry, let me back up. Let's say there's 2 products. One is $10, one is $200. Now, if you have the money to buy the $200 one, why wouldn't you? Just the price alone, regardless of anything else, the pricing alone separates these two things in your mind, and you assume that the $200 thing is better, is more reliable, it's going to last longer, right? So that's the first part about the psychology of charging more, is that just by your price alone, you're going to attract a certain group of clientele. An example is like something like clothes. I mean, kind of in my younger years, everything was budgeted, right? And of course that's necessary when, you have limited dollars, limited income. But, if you're shopping at the grocery store, or shopping for clothes, for me, it was always like, what is the lowest price thing? If I need to buy jeans, I'm going to buy the cheapest jeans, the best sale I could possibly find. And then what happens is I find myself, I'm always needing new jeans because, I bought the cheap ones. They don't last as long. I don't like them. They don't fit right, blah, blah, blah. And then as kind of options and income increases, now I have a totally different mindset about clothes. I'm willing to spend extra. In fact, if a pair of jeans is $20, I'm not even going to look at it. Okay, I'm going to go for the more expensive, higher end jeans because I want something that's going to last a while. I want something that's going to be premium quality. Just by the price alone, I'm filtering out what my choices are. So that's just an example of that. Same with like going to the grocery store. If I'm buying a steak or something, I'm not going to go to the cheapest grocery store and buy the cheapest on sale steak. I want the high quality, good food. I want the good steak. I'm going to go and I'm actually, in some cases, going to favor the more expensive meat because I'm reading into, what's the quality behind it. I want to get the best cut of meat. So the second thing, though, about the psychology of charging more, by the way, guys, this applies everywhere. It's not just in audio, is that you get a way higher level of commitment and buy-in from your customers. So it's this funny thing that happened that as you charge more, Sure, the stakes are higher, the expectations are higher, but it doesn't necessarily become harder for you because the clients that you're attracting, they're paying so much, they're investing so much to work with you that their level of commitment is much higher. And so that means they're going to be much more prepared. They're probably going to be better musicians. They're going to take their craft that much more seriously. Someone who's putting $100 into their recording probably cares about it a lot less and is going to spend a lot less time preparing and thinking about it than someone who's paying $1,000 for their recording, right? So it's this flip side of like, just by charging more, you're going to get better results, not only because you're attracting better clients, but their level of commitment and expertise is also higher. So they've got big time skin in the game. They don't want to waste their chance. If someone's coming in to work with me and they're paying me $15,000 to record an album, what are the chances they're going to show up with their songs half written and not prepared and not be able to play their stuff and not have their gear ready? Man, 15 grand's on the line. This is not going to happen, right? The bar is raised not only for you to deliver on that price, but for them too. Like, they don't want to waste that money. They see their role in that. And that's what I want to tell you about today. There's the psychology behind this. So how to put this into action? Well, I think there is a natural progression. The thing to keep in mind here is that you can't just like raise your rates crazy high no matter where you are. I mean, you have to be able to back it up. If you want to charge $1,000 a song, you have to deliver, a product that's worth $1,000 a song, right? It has to be as good as everyone else who's charging that same amount or better. And I think that's why just the simple concept of just supply and demand of, charging a certain rate till you're booked, then raising it and gradually doing that is, a way to validate that. It's a way to validate that you're at that level. Because let's say you're trying to make a jump and you've just raised your rates to $400 a song and it's slow and no one's taking you up on it. And people are asking to book, but they don't follow up. They say it's too expensive. Well, maybe your skills are there at the $400 level, but maybe the clientele just isn't there with you yet. And you need to get some more momentum behind you. You need to get more word of mouth. You need to saturate the market a little more. So you need to back the rates back down to get booked up again. So that's how you kind of gauge this. But I just want to encourage you, if you're at that point, if you're at kind of that middle point where you're getting paid somewhat seriously, you're not charging $100 a song or something, to record and mix, or $200 even, I would consider that on the low end. Let's say you're from like $200 plus, maybe in the $200 to $500 range to record and mix a song. You're kind of in the middle point. You're starting to get more serious. As you kind of follow this rule of like getting more and more booked and then raising your rates, I encourage you to be a little bolder than I was and not just make these $50, $100 jumps, like make a bigger jump. Next time you raise your rates, jump by $200 a song. Or maybe you even need to just completely double your rates. If you're booked up 4 or 5 months solid at, $250 a song, man, it's probably time to just double that. Just go $500. And sure, maybe you'll lose some clients, but you're also making twice as much money on each one. So it kind of evens out, right? So don't be afraid of this, and test it out. You can always change. If you raise your prices too high and you're not getting the bookings, then you just back it down a little bit and try to find the sweet spot. It's just experimentation, but I wanted to just talk about the psychology behind this so that if you're at that point where you might be in that kind of uncomfortable middle ground where you need to break to the next level, but you're still relying on the lower level of clients to kind of pay your bills, there is something here. There is something to the psychology behind charging more, where when you flip that switch and you're able to make that jump, things actually become easier because of these factors of the clientele you're attracting and their level of commitment, right? Okay, that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Definitely make sure you subscribe to this podcast, and we'll talk next time. If you want to go behind the curtain and learn the secrets that go into making real-world major label quality records, head over to makebetterrecords.com and join the email list to get my best exclusive free content. I've already helped tens of thousands of people start making better sounding records, start a business, and some have even quit their day jobs to go full-time in the studio. I want to do the same for you, and I don't hold anything back, so join us at makebetterrecords.com to get started.